Tokuma Shoten and Kitty Group released Power Soccer exclusively for the Nintendo Famicom on March 30, 1990, the 8-bit sports gaming landscape in Japan was already fiercely competitive. With masterpieces like Tecmo Bowl redefining American football and several soccer titles establishing their ground, developers had to bring something unique to the table. Power Soccer attempted to carve out a niche by offering a fast-paced, condensed 5-on-5, 6-on-6 including goalies, arcade-style experience. Unfortunately, despite a few ambitious ideas, the game ultimately fumbled its execution, securing its place as an obscure, mediocre footnote in NES history. At first glance, Power Soccer introduces an interesting concept. Rather than licensing real-world international teams or professional clubs, the game features fictional squads named after animals and concepts such as Team Eagle, Team Shark, Team Buffalo, and Team Bomber. This gave the game a light-hearted, almost anime-like arcade vibe. Visually, the game holds up reasonably well for a 1990 title. The player sprites are surprisingly large, well-defined, and boast decent animation frames when running or executing a slide tackle. The pitch is presented from a vertical, top-down perspective, scrolling smoothly as action moves from goal to goal. However, the presentation quickly takes a nosedive when it comes to audio. The 8-bit soundtrack is incredibly repetitive, featuring short, looping chiptune tracks that quickly grate on the nerves. The sound effects for kicking the ball or tackling lack impact, failing to deliver the power promised in the game's title. Power Soccer is built on strict arcade philosophies, simplicity, and speed. The developers stripped away almost all real-world soccer rules to keep the action flowing. In this game, you will find no offsides, no fouls or penalties, no yellow or red cards, no player substitutions or injuries. While a rule-free environment sounds like the perfect recipe for a fun, chaotic multiplayer session, the underlying gameplay mechanics completely ruin the formula. The game is plagued by severe control issues. Player switching is sluggish and highly unpredictable. When the opponent is driving down the field, pressing the button rarely gives you control of the defender closest to the ball. Furthermore, your players move with an agonizing sense of friction, as if they are running through thick mud, while the computer-controlled AI moves with laser-focused precision. This massive imbalance turns the single-player mode into an exercise in frustration. Scoring a goal feels less like a reward for a well-orchestrated passing play and more like exploiting a programming glitch or getting lucky with a specific shooting angle. The single-player tournament mode requires you to defeat the other teams in succession. Because the game lacks a battery backup save feature, it relies on a classic 8-bit password system. While this allows you to resume your progress, the frustrating gameplay loop provides very little incentive to actually see the tournament through to the end. The lack of distinct statistical differences or unique special abilities between the teams means that every match feels identical to the last, leading to rapid burnout. Power Soccer is not the absolute worst sports game on the NES, but it is deeply mediocre. It stands as a classic example of a game that prioritized a fast arcade concept but forgot to polish the basic user controls. Later that same year, Technos Japan would release Nintendo World Cup, which perfected the exact same arcade soccer with no rules concept by adding charming graphics, super shots, and vastly superior controls. If you are a hardcore retro collector or an emulation enthusiast digging through Japan-exclusive Famicom ROMs out of sheer curiosity, Power Soccer is worth a 5-minute test drive. For anyone else looking for an enjoyable 8-bit soccer match, you are much better off sticking to the classics.